The next mode I would like to show you is our mixed counting mode. In mixed counting mode, we can count multiple denominations. The denominations can be face up, they can be face down, they can be right side up, upside down. We know we are in the mix mode when we see the small grid, the smaller font grid. In the left-hand column, it's going to tell me what denominations it is identified, how many pieces or how many notes of that denomination, and then what the value is. So if it finds two $50 bills, under the 50 line, it'll say 2, and the total value will be $100. I've got a mixed stack of money here. Mixed denominations. Put that on the machine for counting. And we're going to see that we have $229 in this stack. There's 15 notes, and that's made up of 4 singles, 3 $5 bills, 1 $10 bill, 5 20s, 2 50s, and 0 $100 bills. Here's the value of each of those denominations and the grand total. This works out very nicely when there are long lines at the cashier's window, and let's say during a real estate tax collection cycle, and somebody comes in with a couple $1,000s of mixed bills and plops that down on the counter. The cashier can take that stack of money, doesn't have to worry about the orientation or the sequence of them, get a total value count, just to be sure, can put it on a second time, $229. It is $229. That is what the person told me it was. Can hit the print button. And on the printer, all of the values on this display will get printed out on the receipt. The cashier can then tear that off, ban that money, put it in his or her drawer, and move on to the next customer. Once the lines subside at a later time, the cashier can sort out this money, or it can be sorted out as a back office function. That can be done very quickly and easily by going back into our value mode. Our auto mode. In auto mode, if you will remember, it's going to see what denomination we're counting by looking at the bottom bill. Once we've identified what the bottom bill is, we're going to accept those and reject everything else. In this case, the bottom bill is a 20. So as I put the stack of money on there, we're going to get 20s are accepted. I can set those aside. And we have still mixed denominations. We have a single at the bottom. So next we will be sorting out the singles. We have a $10 bill at the bottom. I'm sorry. I must have, at any rate, we counted out the 5s here. Putting a $50 bill at the bottom. We got our 2 50s. I think the 10 had rejected on the other stack. So we counted out the 10. This 5 did reject earlier, that's why it did not get included in our 5s, but as I ran it through a second time, it did clear. It may have been a little skewed in our previous count, and therefore it kicked it out as a suspect. When a bill does kick out as a suspect, I do recommend that you run it through 1 or 2 more times to see if it continuously kicks out as a suspect. If it does, and a folded bill such as this should reject. Oh. One way or another, we might get it to reject. Once a bill does reject, we can hit the function button to go onto the second screen. We can push the reject button. It's going to tell us misdenomination reflection. And what that may not be all that meaningful to you in some cases. In other cases, it will tell you why the bill was rejecting. In this case, misdenomination, it was not able to read what the denomination was, and hence it rejected it. Flatten that bill back out. Go back into our home mode, and it did count that. Another feature that this machine has is the ability to cash out a drawer very quickly. We have already sorted our money so that it's we have our singles, our fives, our tens, our 20s, and our 50s. What I'm going to do is, in the auto mode, figure out how much money we have here in a cumulative fashion. To accumulate, I want to go into my function and push the add button. We get a big plus sign on the bottom. What it's going to do is keep a cumulative total in our mixed mode screen as to how much we have of each denomination, but it's going to segregate it out by denomination. So in this case, we should be getting 20s first. So I've got my 20s, 5 20s for $100. I had 150 for $50. When I remove the stack, you'll see this screen show up, and it's the mixed mode screen showing me I've got 5 20s for $100, 150 for $50. I'm going to continue on. It jumps back to my single screen. Here's a $50 bill. It did reject that the first time. I have had occasional rejects on that particular 50. This time it did pass it through. So it added that into my total. And I just keep going through my stack, segregating out my denominations as I'm working on my drawer total. When I'm all done, I still end up with 15 notes at a total of $229. The screen is not only an information screen, it is also a touch screen. So you can push the hard buttons on the left and right of the machine, or you can tap the screen at the button you want, and it will accept that. Okay, we've gone over the batch mode feature. We've gone over, I believe we went over the facing and the orienting. We've gone over the functions, what the function button does. The value screen, the value button clears out face and orient and gets us back into our value counting mode. We've gone over the auto and the mixed modes and the print button. Again, on the function, it takes us to our second screen. That's where we access the reject reason. We access the add button by pushing it a second time. It'll clear that off from our bottom screen total. Free mode counting, what that will do is it turns off all of the counterfeit detection. It will count the bills and disregard whether they're different denominations, disregard whether they're suspect counterfeits or not. Anytime that something kicks out into the reject pocket and it is a suspect counterfeit, the machine is not saying it is truly a counterfeit bill. All it is saying is that it has not met the parameters that the machine is looking for, and that bill should be scrutinized by the cashier, teller, or by someone to determine if in fact it is a counterfeit, or if it is just a severely worn bill, or may have rejected for some other reasons that the sensors just failed to pick up on. That is it for the features and functions of the Toshiba IBS 200. We thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoy your machine.